I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com. With us, a regular guest and a friend of mine. He runs and has started, his brainchild was traderschoice.net, where he puts up all kinds of free trades and lets you see what he's doing for free. His name is Gregory Mannarino. Gregory Mannarino, thank you for joining us today from Las Vegas. Thank you for joining us on USAWatchdog.com.
Thanks for having me again, Greg. I always love your show.
Well, you know, you said something to me about the massive amounts of fraud. And just this week, I mean, here we have Wells Fargo paying a $1.2 billion fine for mortgages. And then the government turning around and making them a primary dealer. 2 weeks ago, we had Goldman Sachs pay a $5 billion fine for mishandling mortgage. I call all this stuff fraud. I mean, it's just fraud. And then we have a Deutsche Bank, big story about them admitting to manipulating two markets, gold and silver. This are two separate markets. And the banks involved over on this side of the pond, and nothing. What do you suppose is going on with the fraud that's going on, and nobody really reports much of it?
Greg, we exist beyond any shadow of any doubt in an environment of absolute fakery, where nothing is real, from the prices of assets to what's occurring here with regard to the big Wall Street banks, the Federal Reserve, interest rates, and everything in between. And with regard to what is occurring here with all of these banks and what you're referring to here, this is no surprise to me. All of this is being played in a way to keep people believing once again that the system is working and will continue to work. It's not going to. Again, look, if you just look at the most basic fundamentals here with regard to, let's just look at the stock market, because everyone looks at the stock market. You know, I always look at the bond market, but people want to watch the stock market. There's no possible way at this time that these multiples can be justified with regard to what's occurring here with the price action of the overall market. But meanwhile, it continues to rise. Now, I've been telling people for weeks and weeks that the market is going to continue to rise. I've been capitalizing on it. I've been telling people how to do this right on my website, traderschoice.net. Thank you for bringing that up. But again, nothing is real. I can't stress this enough. We're now existing in an environment where central banks are fixated on and determined to continue to suppress interest rates. The U.S. dollar has been in pretty much of a downward spiral since December. When you and I did our interview in December, I said this. We both spoke about how this would occur. The dollar down, metals up. This is what's going to happen. And we're going to continue to see more fakery and manipulation and twisting of this entire system. Because right now it's upside down, Greg. Nothing is real. When we now have an environment where the financial system as a whole has been flipped upside down just to make it function, and that's very scary.
Wait. Have you ever seen this? I mean, you go back to the 90s as a floor trader for Bear Stearns. That's a pretty deep, long trading career. I mean, even though you got away from Bear Stearns and they went under, that was after you left long before they went under. But
way before.
Yeah, and so, but have you ever seen anything like this? I mean, how big is this?
We've never seen anything like this in the history of the world, Greg. I mean, just here, look. We're now here 10 years into suppressed interest rates in the United States alone. It can never stop. The Federal Reserve has never been in a situation like this. We are completely in uncharted territory where world central banks have gone negative interest rates. Look, again, this environment is not real. It's all an illusion.
Do you think this is
the stock market buoyed?
Do you think this is the biggest fraud you've ever seen or anybody's ever seen?
This is the biggest fraud in the history of the world. Again, and it's affecting every single person on this earth here. And it's going to unfold in a very destructive way. Again,
why? What do you mean? What do you explain? Why is it going to unfold in a destructive way?
Well, it's really simple. Every single asset now, all right. I don't care what asset you want to look at. You want to look at currency, you want to look at debt, one of the same, you want to look at housing, you want to look at metals, you want to look at the stock market. Pick an asset. There's no price discovery mechanism behind it whatsoever. It's all fake. It's all being distorted because of suppressed interest rates, which are allowing speculation in the stock market, putting pressure on currencies. And understand, I always try to, this is why I focus on the bond market so much, and everyone focuses on the stock market. You got to watch the bond market because every single asset is priced off of what is occurring in the debt market, the bond market. Now, when we're existing in an environment where these are being artificially suppressed, so what does that mean? Look, if the debt market is being artificially suppressed, it's being faked. Okay, so if the debt market is being faked, everything else is fake associated with it now. Going back to why these banks here are not going to get in any trouble for what they're doing. They can do whatever they want here. Just like in 2008, if they need a bailout, they're going to get it. Because again, the system is built upon one premise, and that is confidence that it will work. If that confidence is rattled, the whole thing will implode. Our policymakers are well aware of this. So understand, there's a direct collusion between the world central banks and their respective governments, and will not stop until this entire thing implodes, and it's going to. And what I mean by implode is correct to fair value. All of this will correct to fair value at one particular time. When? Who knows? But it doesn't matter because, again, we need to take advantage of these distortions. That's what I'm doing here. Pretty much I'm trading indicators now. I'm not even, when I'm looking at an asset here, no matter what it is, I don't even care what the price action is because it's not real. So when I'm looking at my charts, I'm trading indicators. I'm not trading price action. I'm trading indicators now.
You're not trading any fundamentals. You're trading the manipulation and the interventions.
Exactly. And, you know, it's kind of profound what I just said. It kind of just hit me. But seriously, for anyone who's trying to gain an edge on this market, forget about the price action of any asset. If you're a chartist like myself, trade the indicators because nothing else is real.
In other words, the indicators is which direction do you think it's going to go? That's what you try to pick out all the time. Which direction? I tell you, you've been uncanny. I mean, I know you look on your site and you got, I don't know, 13 out of 16 trades.
No, way more than that. As a matter of fact, out of my last 19 positions, Greg, 14 have been profitable. I don't care who you are out there, you can't do better than that.
If you were a baseball player, you'd be batting about 750.
That's pretty good here.
760.
Yeah,
Home runs. And I wanted to ask you about Deutsche Bank. I mean, it's not just the government. I mean, the media. The media, I mean, listen, as a journalist, and I've been around since the 70s, and I made it to 2 networks, and I'm not like, Mr. Big Pants, but I know what a story is. And you have the biggest bank in the world, Deutsche Bank, biggest bank in Germany for sure, one of the biggest banks in the world. And it cops to rigging 2 separate, gold and silver aren't the same market. They're 2 separate markets. So they're rigging 2 markets, and then they say, we're going to roll over on the banking buddies too. And they implicate immediately, boom, 2 banks over on this side of the pond, and more to follow, according to Rob Kirby. And now this story hatches lawsuits. It hatches babies. What's going on? Why do you think they won't touch this? I guess just ignore it like it's nothing.
Of course they're going to ignore it. They have no choice but to ignore it. Again, it's
Why?
about confidence. It's the system, Greg. The system relies on one thing, and one thing only, and that's confidence. They can't allow the general public to understand that there's absolute fraud involved in the biggest banks on earth. If the people start to get wind of that, then they're going to start to get afraid. Then they'll pull their cash out of these institutions. They'll start allocating into different things. They cannot allow the general public to understand what's really going on. They need to keep the general public focused on the stock market. Most people, Greg, frankly, don't know what to look at. But when they hear, oh, the stock market's higher, oh, my 401k is doing well, that's all they care about. And the same exact thing happened in 2008 when people were watching their houses go up and up and up. They didn't care about anything else. And then when it reversed, then all of a sudden they're crying. So this is what's going to happen now. But the magnitude of this one eclipses what has happened in 2008 by exponents. So again, the 2008 event, that was a walk in the park, and I say like eating an ice cream cone compared to what is going to occur at one point here down the line. And again, when, who knows, and frankly, I don't care. I just want to capitalize on it, and I want everyone else to do that. That's why, again, I pushed everything I have to my website, tradersource.net. I think it's an amazing resource for people who are looking to capitalize on this fake nonsense that is occurring right now. This is not a game that just can be played by the big banks, Greg. We can all play this too.
Now, other people would say, well, why are you going to, leave your money in the stock market, whatever? And are you still sweeping that and paying off your house and buying gold and silver and taking the money out of the market than the cash you're trading with?
Absolutely. I have an allocator, a fixed amount that I like to keep in my trading account. When I exceed that, I pull that money out and I allocate it into hard assets. I've been doing this for years and years. I would continue to do that. And let me just say this for everyone that's listening, and I have been saying this for years and years and years. Number one, become your own central bank. Number two, bet against this debt. That means hold a hard asset, period, the end. And the most undervalued of them all, Greg, and I'm going to say this over and over and over again, is silver. Silver, in my opinion, is the most undervalued asset in the history of the world. Physical silver. Forget the paper derivative market that is being twisted, that is being faked, because it's going to continue. I don't even want to touch these things from a trading standpoint. That's how utterly insane and disgusting the thievery, or whatever you want to call it, is that it's occurring in that market over there. But again, this presents all of us out here with opportunity to understand where we need to be. Right now, the trade remains risk on. I mean, they're going to keep pushing this market higher. Doesn't mean it's going to go up in a straight line. But when people are looking in one direction here, you got to start looking over here. And that's why, again, I'm such an advocate on holding a hard asset in this point, because they are being manipulated to the downside. They are being suppressed on purpose. So take advantage of it.
So the money in your trading account, Kenny, a lot of people don't get this.
Yeah.
I don't trade because I suck at it. But the money in your trading account, you're saying, hey, listen, if that has to be sacrificed, if the brokerage I'm using goes under, well, then that's fine. But that's all that they get. And I know, and you also go into trades knowing you're going to lose a percentage. People can't get that. I know I'm going to lose, but I'm going to win more than I lose. But people think every trade should be a winner.
It's impossible. I don't care who you are. I don't care what investment bank you might be. If you're the greatest trader and investor in the history of the world, this part of this business of trading is accepting losses and understanding that you're going to have them. Period. But look,
you always protect against the downside. That's why you take the money out of your trading account. You say, oh, I'm only going to put this much money there.
Yeah, but it's a lot more than that too. When people want to invest in a particular asset, as you know, I trade options, which are derivatives. Okay, I play this in a very certain and particular way, and just give me this opportunity to outline this for anyone that's interested. It's very simple to understand this concept. Let's say someone has X amount of dollars that they're going to allocate into trade XYZ. Most people will make this one mistake I'm going to say right now, and this is what costs them. They take that entire amount and they allocate that into one particular trade. Forget about that. That is absolutely wrong. You need to have capital reserves. So what I do here is I don't care how sure I am that a position is going to move in a particular direction. I never do that. I take up a small initial position, maybe a half or a third position. I watch it for momentum in the direction I think it's going to go. Then I add to it as it moves in that direction. This way I minimize my loss and maximize my gain. So let's say trade XYZ goes against me, and I start an initial position with, let's say, a third. I lose the minimum. But as in the direction I want it to go, I will maximize my gains. If you trade my way, you can be wrong half of the time and still make cash. It's that simple. It's about money management. So for anyone looking to understand how to play this market or how to trade, this is key. It's just so important to understand. But look, I think most people here are watching the show really don't care too much about trading. It's more or less looking at the manipulation, and it's just absolutely epic. We've never seen anything like it. There's going to be a horrible price to pay for this. Why? Because it will correct the fair value. There is no doubt in my mind that all of this will correct the fair value. All of these distortions can only go so far. They can only, and we know this, Greg. We've seen this throughout history without exception. Every single bubble that we've ever had, and we are in the biggest bubble in the history of the world, that is this debt bubble that has reinflated a stock market bubble. It will burst. It will burst because every single economic and financial bubble in history, without exception, has burst before it. This one is going to burst too, but this one is going to engulf the world, Greg, and it's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen in the history of the world. And there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that the middle class will no longer exist when this occurs. And there's going to be a massive transfer of wealth to these financial institutions that are going to go short all of this. It's legal theft on a magnitude and scale that is literally unimaginable.
I told a friend of mine that was in the sea, well, my stock came back, and I went, and I said, look, you're participating in a fraud. Let me tell you, you're participating in a fraud, and when it goes down, you're not going to be made whole, just like the people that participated in the Bernie Madoff fraud. Whether they knew it or not didn't make any difference. It was unbelievable, 12% a year, some crazy stuff like that. Well, but I want to come back to your call. You said that the Dow topped in May, and we did a show about that. We're almost here at May. It's been almost a year. Where it made an assault at 1800, and you were like, you said it was going to. You said I will probably try to go back. I don't know if it'll get over it or not, but they're going to run it back up. Do you think your call will hold? Because I don't. Because the smart money, according to Zero Hedge, for the last 11 or 12 weeks, have been selling into this rally.
Yeah, well, J.P. Morgan talked about that a while back. If you recall, you and I speak on the phone all the time. I was telling you, Greg, watch the market's going to go higher. And you kept asking me, are we going to hit the high that we had last May?
18.3 and change or something?
Yeah.
18,300 on the Dow.
I think right now, there is a very strong possibility that we could retake that high. Again, why? Nothing is real. If we were in a real market, do you think the Dow would be anywhere near this now? Probably be Dow 6,000 or lower. If we're in a real market where interest rates were allowed to be where the market would dictate them to be, but that will never happen here. So they're going to continue to inflate this thing here. It's very possible that we could retake that high. What I would look out for, like as a trader, is if we do hit that high of last May, we might get another significant drop there. If we do, what am I going to do? I'm going to go short a major index. Very simple. I'm just going to capitalize on that. So again, are we going to retake it? I think there's a high probability that we could, and we'll just see how it plays out moving forward. Again, there's nothing real here. It's unbelievable.
Well, I think the Shanghai Exchange is real, and all of a sudden, gold and silver, huge day. Holy smokes! Yesterday, up 75 cents or something, which is big. They're up almost flirting at $17 an ounce,
yes,
and gold is at $12.50 or something like that. And so, what's going on? Does it have anything to do with the Shanghai Gold Exchange? I know silver sent the silver exchange gold. Does it have anything to do with that, or is it something else? Why is gold and silver up, and what's going on?
Well, I mean, I just look at when I'm looking at what the price action or the fake price action of gold and silver is doing here. I look at the dollar. The dollar here has been under a lot of pressure since December. It's under a lot of pressure right now. It will continue to fall under pressure moving forward. They're absolutely going to continue to pressure the dollar for many, many reasons. Again, they need to foster an environment where these corporations can capitalize on a weaker dollar, and that's going to push gold and silver and other commodities higher.
So they're just going to have to live with a price spike with gold and silver if they drive the dollar down for multinational corporations.
That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to continue to do this. The dollar. I was looking at a chart of the dollar earlier today, and it's still under a lot of pressure here. The dollar is going to. We're going to see precious metals rise a lot more this year. We are right now. Are we going to get a pullback? I would not be surprised if we do. But again, every single pullback is bullish right now for the precious metals, in my opinion. So if it pulls back here, you need to just continue to buy more. Just buy. Get your hands on this stuff. Bet against the debt. Become your own central bank. Period. This is where we need to be. Betting against their system. Their system is rigged upside down, backwards, and sideways, and we all know it.
Well, one thing I wanted to point out, too, you've been saying, and people are saying, well, for the last 5 years, you said to buy gold, and all these other people said to buy gold. Well, now we know the advice was sound because the debt was exploding, and people like Deutsche Bank and Social Makata and many others, I suspect, rigged both markets, and they admitted to rigging both markets. So the advice was sound, but the evil bankers were crushing the trade and making it look like, well, you're stupid. Anybody who said buy gold and silver, do you regret buying silver at 40 or 50 or whatever?
Absolutely not. Anyone out there that has been saying that for all of these years has no concept of what is occurring here. I never said, and a lot of guys never said to go out there and trade this stuff. They said hoard it. Or start buying it. I don't care. $50. Silver was cheap at $50 based upon the debt at the time and is undervalued at this particular time as well. In a real market, today, silver should be $80 an ounce. $80 today. That's where silver should be. Gold, much, much higher than it is here. But so look.
So you say the advice was sound, but the banker manipulations would screw everybody.
Yeah, it didn't screw anyone. In my opinion here, if people have an idea that you need to be holding this stuff for the longer term, I never said people trade this stuff. I said buy it, bet against the debt, become your own central bank. If you have a concept of what we're talking about, understanding how the world...
You'd have kept buying it all the way down.
Can never stop. Inflating and inflating. It's done. Forget. I don't care what they do, Greg. They can never stop. Can never stop. This is the environment we're in here. So that means, again, become your own central bank and by holding a hard asset. This is how you become your own central bank. Bet against the debt. Again, hold a hard asset. So anyone who's been out here saying, "Oh, look, these people were wrong," well, they're frankly.
Well, the bankers made you
I don't
wrong.
want to say it.
The bankers, the manipulators
I'm
made
not
you
going
wrong.
to say it, but I think that your followers here know exactly what I'm talking about.
Gregory Mannarino, traderschoice.net, free everything, your ebook, your site, your trades, and which I know you're on it every day and you're doing stuff every day. You spend a lot of time, hours every day. You don't just throw darts on a map, and you're always up because I'm constantly calling you, and you're constantly telling me about analysis you're churning out through that brain of yours.
Yeah.
So anyway, listen, Gregory Mannarino, traderschoice.net. Thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Great to be here, Greg. Thank you.